Okay, still. Oh, I have to go to the premium account. What the heck is this?
What?
If I want to do Twitter,
Oh, what are we on now? I was in a studio
Facebook,
earlier.
and
What studio was that?
I think this one is because I pressed live, so we're live right now.
Okay.
Anyways, welcome everybody to the Boardman Gets Paid podcast. I'm your host, Andre Lindo, and we got regular shells up in the building. Whoop, whoop. No. Put that down. What is this? Stop this.
I'm hiding it, man. I'm trying to hide it. Let me get out of frame. Oh my god.
Oh my! I don't know how you elite fans are.
No, not you guys. No.
You have a jersey on.
Well, listen to me.
You
Okay,
are
let me
part
explain
of
myself.
it.
Let me explain myself. Okay, when
Try.
they started winning, I caught the last train out the station. Okay, I got the last bus ticket to the bandwagon. So let's not go this
I
us.
learned my lesson seven game sevens ago.
Yeah. That Boston one was the one where I was like the last time I was really a fan.
Which Boston one are you talking about?
Well, the most famous one, the collapse, man. The collapse, Game 7 collapse, third period, up 4-1, man, losing. Oh, I don't know, bro.
Yeah. But today we are going to talk Raptors. We're going to talk basketball. Some fun things are going on. Today's game,
yes,
amazing.
Yes.
I know. It seemed like a blowout. We're talking about the OKC versus the game 7 versus the Denver Nuggets.
Yes.
Really good game. Good game. I enjoyed it. Even though it was just a blowout at the end.
Yeah, I got carried away. Yeah.
But man,
I was expecting that either way because both of those teams were so good. Like, someone was gonna pull away at some point. Like you can't go to a game 7 and like no team is just either healthy or fully energized. Like those teams gave everything, man. I don't think Denver was a good
team.
Ran out. Denver ran out. Well, the thing is with Denver, they were hanging on to their past glory in terms of championship.
Yeah.
Thing, and I think that's a real thing in basketball. Like once you get to that mountaintop, you know what it takes, and you can easily pull it out. Pause, like when it's needed, right? Like for instance, Jamal Murray just showed up out of nowhere. Like where has he been all year?
Yeah.
And then game was it 4, 5, and 6 or 4 and 5?
Yeah.
He turned into a prime MJ. Like he couldn't be stopped. But I think Denver, like you said, is not a good team, but they were good enough to actually compete.
I think the reason why they were good enough to compete was the MVP of the league. I'm sorry, bro. Jokic is so good.
Nice, but again, he's not the reason what makes him good is the team around him. I'm not trying to say that he can't be good individually, but the system that they run is so inside out that it makes him like it takes him to another level.
But how? I don't understand that because
shooters around him, and they didn't have no shooters. You got Russell Westbrook out there,
bro. Yeah, but I'm just saying, his shooting, his feel for the game, everything. He literally is the best player in this league because I can't imagine any other player being in his position, leading them to a second round against the best team.
Remember, he's a 7-footer in a league of minimal 7-footers who play center.
Yeah,
and he's doing things that like he can play both sides. He can play the big man game and he can play the guard game. Like it's ridiculous. So shout out to Jokic, man. I think
he's so smart. Like the play that he did this today as well. And there's just sometimes they forget. As soon as he grabs a rebound, he takes one and flings it down the court. Okay.
Yeah.
And Christian Braun, really good player.
Yeah.
Just picks it up, lays it in. And it's like, then OKC's like, that's never happening again. It never happened again. Oh man. And Alex Caruso is the MVP for OKC, man. Holy crap.
I saw my tweet. I told somebody months ago, a few people, that that pickup for Alex Caruso is such a huge pickup for them because you need guys like that in the playoffs, right? When it comes down to it, you need someone who's gonna like shock the other team. There's no scouting report for that. No. You couldn't have scouted that Alex Caruso is gonna limit Jokic. He didn't stop him, but he limited him a little.
I'd like to say, I don't know if I don't think he only limited him. He stopped him, man. One thing I noticed about him is that I'm sorry. I forgot OKC's coach's name. Starts with the N.
Digno or something.
They know, right?
Digno,
So
yeah.
before in the game, it used to be Jalen Williams, the Jay Williams,
Yeah.
guarding
Light
Jokic
skin.
in the paint. Yeah,
Yep.
light skin one.
Yep. Yep.
And then they switched over to Caruso. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was one of the smartest things. And you know
Yep.
who did something similar to that to try
Mm-hmm.
to lock them down? Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember Golden State versus Dallas? The
What year was this?
the year that Dallas lost to the eighth seed.
Oh,
Yeah, with Steven Jackson, Baron
oh
Davis.
yes.
So
Matt Barnes and those guys. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They
so
had like
what they
Al
did,
Harrington guarding thing. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they had
yeah,
all like a small forwards guarding Dirk and those guys and
yes,
shut them down. Yeah,
Steven
yeah.
Jackson. They threw Steven Jackson at him, and they threw I forgot who.
Petrus.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mikel Petrus. Yeah,
there
and it
was a
was
bunch.
he couldn't do anything
Yeah, Al Harrington
because
on the team. Yeah, well,
uh,
you see, that's the thing. Like,
yeah,
okay, you throw in a player who is it's like Draymond Green, right? What he's done his whole career.
mhm,
Basically, you throw an undersized player in there, but defense is more than just, and we talk about it all the time. It's more than just one. It's one dimensional. You got to have the effort, and you got to have the positioning, right? And
exactly.
his
See,
positioning has been perfect. Caruso this last game, I'm watching him like,
you watch him, so he comes in, he fronts him,
yeah,
and
with his,
then as soon as he gets fights through, he pushes
yep,
him to outside the block. He
yep.
never got in the block most of the game.
No,
He just couldn't.
and the thing with Jokic, like his strength is once he gets on the block, he's able to see over the defense and able
Yeah,
to pick them apart. He couldn't do that because he couldn't get his positioning,
couldn't get a position. He couldn't
right?
get anywhere. And then
Nothing.
the Jamal Murray pick and roll with him
It wasn't
barely
there.
worked. And then
Wasn't.
Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
That guy needs to retire. That
Well,
guy.
you see,
Whew,
this is why Charles Barkley used to say back in the day before Steph Curry became a thing. You can't win a championship by just shooting 3-pointers. You can't win games by just shooting threes. And this is a perfect example because guys like him, once you take away the 3-point shot or the shot period,
yeah,
he's useless.
easy.
He's 6'10", 6'11", can't do anything else.
He's the smallest 6'10" I've ever seen in my life,
Bro.
Yeah.
Without that jump shot, it's like, why are you even on the floor, bro? Why are you here?
And then you get Russell Westbrook coming in. Oh man, I feel so bad for because I love what Russell.
Yeah. He
But
plays hard,
bro,
but it's hard to
you
bet on
can't
him,
be
man.
turning all over the ball.
It's
Like,
hard to bet on that guy, man.
come on, man. I don't know.
Now I understand why. Now I understand why KD left a lot of times. When I think about it, I really understand why KD left the Thunder, because you had Harden and Westbrook, and it seemed like the perfect marriage. But in essence, like, bro, these guys do not show up, man.
Bro, it was the
When it
last 6
counts,
minutes of the game against Golden State.
they do not
When
show up.
Westbrook, I don't know what he was doing, bro.
Like if
Oh
they had
man,
the Westbrook that closed out the Clippers series, OKC would have been out of here, right? Like if that Westbrook showed up, we would have a different story right now. But again, you can't bet on Russell Westbrook, man.
Yeah.
He's just like a Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know you don't know what you're gonna get with him.
Do you think OKC? I'm not saying they're but like, aren't they the perfect team?
You know what? And I think I told you this earlier. I said they're the most complete team ever since they got Hartenstein. Because you get a big now to add with all these guards and these defensive role players like Isaiah Joe, these shooters, right? Like you have the perfect nucleus. You got your star player, your closer, right? You got your secondary star, Jalen Williams. You got your third star in Chet, right?
Yeah.
Who can explode for 30,
He's
40.
more of a role player to me, but like
He is, but he's a third star. He's a third star.
Third string, yeah.
He's still young, right? He's still growing. You got your defensive players in Lou Dort and Caruso, right? You got your bench players your electrifying bench players.
What's his name?
Wiggins and the other kid.
Wiggins is nice, yo. No, yeah, Isaiah Joe. It wasn't Isaiah Joe. It's the other guy. Carson Wallace.
Casey Wallace.
Oh,
yes.
Casey Wallace. Oh my, that guy.
You see what I'm saying?
And this is where I'm like, for the Raptors, I'm looking at the OKC team that has a bunch of three guards on their team, like tons of them. And I'm like, that's where now when we talk about the draft, I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm okay with getting more guards because you can, as long as they're playing. I want bigger guards.
and
but
you got to be
they
able to
have.
shoot.
Oh man, I hate OKC, bro. I just they're so like rich with what they have, man. It's awesome.
You
Yeah.
know what? You know, it's. I'm happy for them because ever since their inception, and they started out, great, getting KD and then Russ and then Serge and those guys and Harden, and from them going from that to Paul George and Shea and then what
Carmelo.
was it? Carmelo. Like there's some weird years there, but for them to bounce back through the draft, like
Yeah.
you gotta really commend them. And that pickup with Shea, like that flip for Paul George right now looks like
Yeah.
probably the greatest trade in history.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
Paul George has never won an MVP. Paul George has never been to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Paul George has probably played less games than some other stars in the league, and you flip him for another MVP potentially, and also 100 draft picks, which is turning out to build out your roster, a championship roster. This is crazy for
Yeah.
one player.
Yeah. For one
Every time I
player.
see that graphic of what Paul George or what the OKC got for Paul George is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In hindsight, right now, it's ridiculous.
What can you
Shout out to
say?
Sam Presti, man.
Sam Presti, yeah, that guy can. That guy
He's
knows.
he's, he's up there. He's up there. He's Messiah level for
Yeah,
me. Like
and
he's
that's why I think
ridiculous.
Milwaukee will trade Giannis because at the end of the day,
Start over, right? Yeah,
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 you have to sell high, and that's
yeah.
where I'm mad at Masai for not doing that with Pascal and
Yeah,
Fred.
man. DeMar DeRozan, man. It's only so many times you can strike gold, and
Yeah.
I think the Raptors, well, not to go back to them, but like at
Mhm.
that time, they were still fantasizing over 2019 and all those
Mhm.
things,
Yeah.
which is understandable, right? It was such a high. You didn't want to break up that nucleus, but I mean, it was time. It was
Yeah.
past time.
Yeah.
But I think with Milwaukee, and not to jump too soon,
Yeah.
but they gotta start thinking about is Giannis. You already got a championship out of it,
Yeah.
right? So you can start there and
You
say,
got a
hey, man,
championship and you got a new stadium. You
you
made
got
a
to
ton of
all those.
money. Like,
Absolutely. So now you can start looking at, hey, what's our future looking like? If our star player is quote unquote disgruntled, we brought in another star in Dame, it didn't work out, injuries and whatnot.
mhm.
But like you guys have a window. You know what I'm saying? You're one of the oldest teams in the league.
Yeah.
It's time to shut it down. How much more can Brooke Lopez and these guys do?
Pat
You know what I'm saying?
Connaughton, like, come on, man.
Pat Connaughton, like
Yeah.
what more can they do? So I think it's time to, if I'm the Bucks, yeah,
Yeah, and
shop
I think
Giannis.
this is the best year. Like right now, Brooklyn has literally 4 picks in this upcoming draft. You can literally reset your whole team right there. With
Hold on, pause,
so.
pause.
But let's talk more about now the upcoming Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals. So we got OKC, Minnesota. Who do you like? Oh, we lost him. So yeah, we're talking about the basketball um, playoffs. Just lost regular shells. Regular, you back? Sheldon, you back? Oh. Anyways, so I want to share the screen. I want to see what you guys are, what we're talking about. You back, my man? Testing 1 2. Sheldon, you're back. So let's look at the playoff picture so far. We got New York and Indiana. Who would have thought that New York and Indiana would be in the Eastern Conference Finals? I thought New York had a chance. I felt like New York was the best team to kind of beat out the Boston Celtics. One of my thought processes always is that wings win win championships. You have to have really dynamic wings, and what New York did was build out all these different wings. Sheldon, you're back. You can hear me?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, man.
Cool.
Technical difficulties. Couldn't hear
No
you.
problem. No problem. So like I was saying that we're starting off in the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
Looking at Indiana and New York.
Yes.
I thought the only team that could probably take down Boston was New York because they were built to beat Boston. I honestly said it. I said it to a bunch of
Yep.
people.
Yep.
People were like, no, but when you have large defensive wings,
Yep.
coming at you all the time. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only team. That's the only type of team that can beat Boston.
Well, what I'll say to that is Boston kind of screwed themselves when they decided they wanted to be exclusively a 3-point shooting team, and the way they did it is not the right way of doing it. Like a la Golden State and other teams, where you have 3-point shooters, yes, but you play inside out. Boston never played inside out. They played 5 out, literally 5
Yeah,
out, and that
yeah,
was
and then
because you have, like you said, you got New York who has 5 out guards who are all defensive players,
exactly.
right? So now, what are you gonna do when you can switch all 5 positions? You got
Yeah,
all
and then
there going crazy, and you got Bridges. Like, come on, how are you gonna shoot the three over these
yeah,
guys?
yeah,
Yeah,
those guys, big wings, man. And
yes.
then you have Jason Tatum.
Mm.
Again, people have issues with him. He's a great player. Like I don't mind. Like I
To
don't mind
me,
his game.
he's such a.
He,
I call him the pylon player. And what I mean by pylon is not
oh,
lack of defense. Is he's a drill player. You ever see
mhm.
those guys who do drills around the cones and the pylons?
Yeah,
That's what he looks like when he's playing the game. He doesn't look like like he's in the moment. Like he looks like he's doing drills out there at the time. And
he
if the
has no
shots
aura.
don't
That's what
fall,
it is. That's what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
trying to say. He
When
has
the
no
when the
aura.
shots don't fall, it's like he has no backup.
Yeah.
All the drill work for nothing. I don't know, man. I never seen a player like this, that talented, that
But
just
the thing is, though, he's
flames
good.
out.
Like we can't
He's
just
amazing. He's
yeah.
amazing.
I don't know. I feel so bad for him because he has. It's like he doesn't have a personality
It's
in
the
a
aura,
sense.
man.
Like
You're right. It's the
it's the
aura.
aura, man. I'm telling you, like, because how is your team the best team
In the
in
league,
the league,
defending
and
champs.
you are not even considered an
Yeah,
MVP candidate?
yeah, and not even that. How do your team? You're the best player in the team. Your team wins a championship, and you're not even considered the MVP of
MVP.
the
Ah,
finals.
man. Well,
I don't
they
happen to
had
Steph,
to. If he
but
let it,
like
they wouldn't have won, man. I'm like Jalen Brown has
I
a little
believe
bit
you.
of.
I believe you. I believe
Yeah,
you.
I don't know if they would have won, man. But
And news came out today. I don't know if you saw it, but Jalen Brown apparently
yeah,
was playing with a partially torn, was it meniscus or something like that? So
bro,
you know,
that's $600,000. Sorry,
no,
$600 million
million,
and two
million.
freaking players, bro. I do not. I have no
See,
sympathy for Boston at all. Yeah,
again, it goes back to the thing about signing players.
yeah,
Like, you do not invest that much money into. I can't even say they're unproven because they won a championship, but like,
yeah.
I
You
don't know.
can't have.
They're
I
not generational to me. Like, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They're not Steph Curry. They're not LeBron. They're not Anthony Edwards. They're not Wembanyama. Like,
yeah.
these guys are great players, but they're not that. They're not $300 million players. But
Two,
you know
two,
what? Hey,
six.
I'm not mad. Boston screwed themselves. I'm not mad.
I don't.
I'm not
Yeah,
mad. They got
I'm
Shaq.
cool.
I'm
Yeah,
cool.
go ahead. You got your championship. It's time.
Here we
So
go.
now we got New York. We got Indiana. What do
Yep.
you think?
First of all, I just want to say, whoever guessed this or had this on their bracket,
Yeah.
I just want to know you guys are all liars because nobody saw this coming.
Nobody thought this. Nope.
You're all liars. I like it, man. You know what I like the most about this is that you have two of or one of each. You have one great defensive team, and you have another great offensive team. And they always say defense wins, but we're gonna see because I thought the Pacers kind of stumbled into the playoffs. Right? They weren't playing their best. Halliburton was like, I was calling him a fraud. You
Yeah.
remember a
Yeah.
couple months ago? Like, I thought,
Mhm.
this guy would have been much better, and he proved me wrong. And shout out to him because he's really stepped up.
It's interesting you say that this is going to be a defensive versus offensive.
Yeah,
Indiana beat Cleveland with defense, bro.
yeah.
Aaron Aaron
Well.
Aaron
Yes,
Naismith
yes and
destroyed
no.
Cleveland,
Yes
bro.
and no. I'm gonna say
Come
yes and
on.
I'm gonna say the
Okay.
reason why I say no is because Spider gave them 40 a game on one leg, so I'm not gonna say that. And we
Hey,
had the fraud defensive player of the year in Evan Mobley. I don't ever want no one to ever say that man is a defensive
please.
player.
Yeah,
And he was getting buckets on him regularly. How do you win defensive player of the year and then go out and have a performance like that? I don't want to hear nothing about no defensive player.
mm,
Jared Allen is a better defender than he is, but we're not here
yeah,
to talk about that.
yeah, I understand.
Um,
And I like we said, it wasn't Cleveland. Didn't we think Cleveland was the Atlanta Hawks? And
yeah,
lo and behold,
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
did the same thing Atlanta
yeah.
Hawks did.
Pretty
Actually,
much.
didn't even go as far. Didn't Atlanta go to? No, they lost in the semis to
Atlanta went
Cleveland.
to, I think they went to one Eastern Finals against LeBron. That was the year that DeMar Carroll was the LeBron stopper, and then we signed him. Why did we do that? I don't know.
5 years, bro. 5 years. Come on, Masai. Come on.
I don't
So
know,
now
man.
we got Indiana, New York.
Yes.
Like when we look at the matchups, because
Mm-hmm.
this is one series I'm not particularly sure of. I do want New York to win because I think if a New
Okay.
York, I would like to see New York OKC or even New York and Minnesota because
Either
that
one.
would be a most ridiculous. Like if
Yeah.
Minnesota went to the
I just
finals against New
Well,
York.
not even that. Any New York team that goes to the finals, especially in the NBA,
Mhm.
like it's gonna be good for the league because we're gonna
Yeah,
get content like we've never gotten
no.
before. You
Oh
thought
my
the
gosh,
Raptors championship parade?
The New York fans are gonna
Oh
be
my
so lit, bro.
goodness. New York might implode, like it might sink in the Hudson because that that championship,
Mhm.
potential championship. Oh man, I might fly to New York for
Yeah,
that one.
and then Thibs is gonna
Um,
be noted as a genius
yeah,
for
yeah,
playing.
which he's not. He's not. That's not good.
But
He's
but Brunson, I think in between Indiana and New York um, teams,
not.
Brunson is the best player
He by far, yeah,
by
clutch player of the
far,
year.
and
Um,
yeah, exactly.
he's proven himself to be a big game player. And
Mhm.
what I mean by that is when the game gets tight and you need a bucket, you can give him the ball. And I didn't think he was this good.
Me
Coming
neither.
from Dallas, I knew he was a good role player
Yeah,
at the time, but playing behind Luca is tough. And he played really well that playoff series before he went to New York.
yeah.
Yeah, when he was in Dallas, and I was saying to myself like, I don't know, I don't see it yet, but I'm gonna give him a chance. And I think the good thing that New York did was they gave him the reins and said, okay, you're our lead guy, and I want you to go out there and lead the team, and he's done that.
Yeah, yeah,
He's done that.
and then New York did the great thing by actually surrounding him with players
Yes,
that
yes,
fit with him, like
yep,
Carl Anthony Towns. You got Mikal Bridges. Like yes, you gave up the farm for him, but Mikal
sure.
Bridges, you got
It's a
OG.
win now move, yeah,
Yeah,
win now.
the only thing I would say is that there's the bench, and that's why
Mm,
I'm unsure about this because
yep.
Indiana they play 10 deep, man,
Yes,
and
yes,
that's going to
yes.
be tough to you
And not
got
even that,
Lamar. Yeah,
they have 10 players that play really hard. Like you
yeah,
look at players like Neesmith and Mathurin and
Naismith,
these
yeah.
guys, like, bro, these guys play really hard. And I don't know if it's the age old question with Tibbs, like, are you gonna give your guys some rest?
That's not
And
going to
just
happen, bro.
what I'm saying? Like, just came off a tough series. They're playing 40 minutes a night. I mean, like is OG gonna be able to keep up? Like we
I
know
know
his history already.
someone's got to guard Pascal,
I
and
know
I'm
that.
not sure anyone. Not saying that no one can guard him. I just think that his energy is
Yeah.
going to suck it right out of him. So if you're going to put
And
Mikal Bridges on
pause,
him,
pause. You gotta pause that, brother. Sorry, I'm sorry. That was wild. What?
oh,
You gotta do what out of him? Hey, yo,
I'm sorry. That was. Oh my god! I had to put it
flagrant
on.
foul, man.
I had to put it on. Timeout.
2 free throws at the line, please.
Timeout. Flying on the play.
Let's review
But
that, please. Oh man, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, I'm playing. And then I find that so Carl Anthony Towns and
And against
um
Turner, that's gonna be a good
Turner's
matchup.
going to be a great match. I
It's
think
a
that
good
might
matchup,
be the
bro.
key
Yeah, yeah,
because and then
yeah.
who's guarding Jalen Brunson? Who are you putting on him?
Um, you gotta start Halliburton on him, but then you got, or no, sorry, not start Halliburton on him.
Yeah,
You gotta start like
you got to start Naismith, bro.
or Neesmith. Yeah, well, you
Yeah,
see, they got that, and then they got the little pest, the little annoying pest that I hate so
my
much.
boy,
What's his name? Little white boy with
the white boy. Yeah, I like him,
this
bro. I like
side.
him.
I can't stand him, man. I
Why,
can't.
bro? He does that
Tell
little.
you why? Because he's not on my team, and he does these
I
little
like
plays that just
his little
annoy
weird
me.
plays, and you're like, "What?
Yeah.
How did that go in?" Right? Yeah. So,
What
and then
is
I
where
want
are
to
the
see
Blazers?
Matherin's like. I want to see how
He's been
Matherin match.
quiet. He's been quiet. Yeah, he's been
Yeah,
real quiet
but
this year.
I think it's going to be tough because now he has two crazy wings going to have to defend him.
Yeah,
So
he's
this
gonna have
matchup's going to be interesting.
very much so.
So who
Uh,
you have?
to be honest with you, if both teams play to their potential,
Mhm.
I have the Knicks taking this in like 6 or 7, man.
Yeah.
Only reason why is because they've proven that when the game is really tight, they can lock in
Yeah.
defensively.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that from the Pacers in terms of like close game stuff. And I know they won that the first two in Cleveland, but
Mhm.
Cleveland was playing really bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cleveland shot themselves in the foot 100 times. They were the better team, but it's just I don't know, injuries and all these things just kind of piled up for them.
Mhm.
But New York really went through a tough series in Detroit and Boston,
Yeah.
and like they've shown us that hey, we're trying to really go for it.
Yeah.
They don't look like a fake team out there. You know what I mean? They look legit right now. So and they have the easiest path right
Yeah.
as of right now,
Yeah. They
right?
played
So
Milwaukee wasn't even. They haven't
yeah,
lost. They've only lost 2 games in this playoffs.
there you go.
You
There
know,
you go.
I kind of think the longer the series goes on, the more it benefits Indiana.
Yes,
So
I
I
agree. I
think
agree. Yeah, I
whoever
agree.
wins the first 2 games,
I agree
if
with
it
that. Yeah,
splits,
yeah.
I'm going with Indiana. If New York wins
hmm
2, that's it, bro.
So
I think that's
if it
it.
goes like who has home court?
It's New
New
York.
York, right?
Yeah,
So if New York wins the first two, then I feel bad for Indiana.
yeah. India might
If
have a
Indiana
problem.
splits, if they split, or if they steal like game 5 or something like that in New York, then it could be a series.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, New York, the longer this goes is bad for them because again,
Mhm.
Tibbs is gonna run these guys to the ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's gonna run
Exactly.
them to the ground, and you know,
Even if they split and then Indiana wins the
mhm.
game 3,
Yeah,
or sorry, if New York wins game 3, I don't even
yeah,
think. I still think the Indiana might win it all because it's
really,
just they. Yeah, because I think because Indiana has just so much energy
they do, they really
offensively,
do.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
sometimes it'll wear you down, like the way that
Yeah,
they wear down
Indiana
Cleveland
plays
and
with a faster pace, right? Like
yeah.
their pace is really up and down. New York likes to slow it
Mhm.
down, get Brunson the ball, get Cat the ball, play a little inside out 2-man game,
And
and let
that's where
the
I think they're gonna have struggles because
right,
they have
right, right.
tons of wings that they're
Mhm.
fast, right? So you
Exactly.
have
Yeah,
Brunson just ISO on the
yeah.
on the right side, right?
Mhm.
Man, they're gonna throw Naismith out, and Naismith's been getting away with so much, so much things when it comes to
Yeah, and Turner
fouling
as
and
well.
doing
And
So
Turner's extremely mobile, right? And
mhm,
I don't think they've had that type of center to
yeah,
go up against. I mean, Detroit had it, but that's Detroit. They're still young.
yeah.
Boston didn't have a pretty. Again, Boston doesn't play inside
Chris,
out.
yeah,
They play
Crispy
5 up,
was really bad. Yeah,
right? So I think this is going to be their toughest test interior wise for New York, and they don't really have the size outside of Mitchell Robinson,
I
who doesn't
want
get
New
much
York to
play.
win, but I think it's gonna be Indiana in 7.
It's going to be an interesting series.
Yeah,
It depends on who's playing up to their level. Because I
yeah.
feel like if Indiana plays the way they've been playing, in terms of this high octane offense and this
Mhm.
up and down pace, I think they have a chance to squeeze it out in like 6 or 7. Man, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think Indiana will win in 6, but 7, yes,
Could
because
be. Could
it's
be. Yeah.
just that amount of energy that they produce, and then they got the vet Pascal Siakam, won a
Absolutely.
ring,
The champ.
won a
You got people are forgetting. OG did not play in that 2019 playoffs.
exactly.
Although he was there and he went through the experience, it's different when you're
Mhm.
on the court. So I think that little extra and Pascal was the number 2 guy on that championship
Yeah,
team.
yeah,
So and it's showing now. You can see they lean on him a lot when it gets crazy. Although Halliburton does have his moments, but
yeah. Halliburton needs to
Pascal
really.
is like the anchor on that team.
They need to learn to pass him the ball though. There's
Who's that?
times,
Halliburton?
and yeah, Halliburton and even like when they are bringing the ball up, Pascal's always the first to the basket. Get him the ball, man. Just keep feeding him the ball. I feel like sometimes it's just a little because they're trying to do make their own mark, and
Yeah.
it's difficult. Yeah. So yeah, that's our kind of prediction. Let's go to the West now. We
Mhm.
just finished watching OKC destroy the Nuggets in Game 7, but
Clean them up.
first quarter was looking very, very
Yep.
sad, man. It was a really sad kind of game. It was so difficult. Like they went up 10 or 11, and then second quarter comes, 47 points
That was
swing,
literally
bro.
when I turned the TV on. That's when it got crazy
Yeah,
because I turned it on. I'm like, oh, so 3-point game. Oh, nice. Let's lock in and see how this goes. Then I think it was Jalen Williams just went like on an 8-0 run by himself. He
Yeah.
had like 4 steals, a few layups, and I'm just like, all right, it's over.
And I
It's over.
think, and I also, and we were talking about it earlier, but
Yeah.
having Caruso
Yes. Yeah.
defend. So what they were doing was, I didn't even explain this. What they were doing was having Caruso defend at the top of the key,
Yeah.
and lean him into the 2 7-footers behind him.
There was no how do I put it? Like there was no secondary,
Scoring.
you know, score. And yeah, because the you can see the plan was get Jokic the ball and let him figure it out for us.
Yeah.
Right. And I know in the game 7, you throw the scouting reports out the window. You've seen each other, you know each other. It's just give the ball to your best player and see what he can do. And I think it was a great misdirect to put Caruso on Jokic this last game because they had no answer for that. Right. And Caruso is playing perfect defense.
But there
Like,
was times where he scored through it, and we're like,
which is fine because you want to give them the
how
hope.
did he do that?
You want to give them the hope, like, hey, give him back the ball.
Yeah.
But we have another plan for him, and
Yeah.
they couldn't adjust. Denver couldn't adjust fast enough. So I think it was a perfect game plan by the OKC coach to say, you know what, they're anticipating this. Let's give them something else.
Yeah,
Pause,
even
right?
even in the first quarter, Jalen Williams was struggling to
Yeah,
shoot.
yeah,
They were actually struggling to hit the three at all. And then
And you mentioned they had not gone to the line at all in the first half. I think
they
only
went
3
one
times,
time, no,
like
3 times.
16
Yeah,
of
and Denver went 11 times in the first quarter.
first quarter. That's ridiculous.
But
Adam Silver, you got to fix something.
No, those were legit fouls. I promise you, they were doing some funky stuff. But like, it was a good game. And then you see Case and Wallace. You got Andrew Wig like that. There was a lineup of Andrew Wiggins.
You know what? I know
what's his name again?
Yeah.
Aaron Wiggins. There's Aaron Wiggins, Caruso, Case and Wallace, and they just went on a run on their own, man. Oh,
yeah, and that's the difference with OKC because now again you have these players that come at you in waves, right? You got Shea who was gonna hit you with, his little herky. Like you can't really, what's funny? It reminds me of like the real championship teams when they win and when they kind of like fly through the playoffs. They have different. They can put out different lineups that really like throw you off as a team, right? And I always use the Raptors as an example. You have Kawhi Leonard who can come in and do his thing, slow mo and dribble you down and post you up and give you the mid range game, and then you can throw in a Norman Powell who's gonna drive the ball at you at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Pascal, same thing. You know what I mean? Like you can give teams different looks, and OKC can do that. They can sub 5 and give you a totally different look and still have you on your toes. So that's for me. That's all I see. Like these guys are legit now because they have defensive players. They got MVP players, secondary scorers, third level score. Like they have it all, bro. They have it all.
They do. And then the 3-point, and it's the effort. Like Lou Dort's, the effort on the offensive rebound, just tipping it, just tip, just
that is a skill, bro.
No, but I'm like, I think, and it's funny. Who was it that said it? The Lakers coach. He always talked about getting that extra jump and tip just so that we can try to get that extra possession.
That's a Sean Marion.
Sean Marion,
was great at that. Like Draymond is good at that. Like guys who know how to position themselves. Even Pascal in Toronto, a lot of times he couldn't get the rebound. But he's tipping it out, and getting extra possession.
Marcus
Saul's great at that. Yeah. And for me, like watching Denver, when I knew this game was over in that in the second quarter area there, like they were turning over the ball and no one was running back on defense.
No one.
And I said, okay, it's over. Like you could just tell, like Jokic lost the ball I think 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
And they went on a 6-0, 8-0 run, and I'm like, okay, no one is back on defense. It's 3-on-1, and nobody's even like running back.
Yeah. And that's why I'm a little pissed off at Michael Porter Jr. Like, he didn't try. He didn't even try.
It's game 7, man.
I understand the younger players like Strother and Watson. They tried their best, but like, yo, you're a vet, bro. Come on.
You're a championship. You know what it's like. You've been there.
Hit a bucket, bro.
Do something.
The basket. I don't know. Post someone up. I don't know what you want.
Bro,
anyways,
it was weird, man.
all right. So now, what do you think about the matchup between Minnesota and OKC?
Yes, so
Because
I like this matchup for many reasons because I
mhm,
think this is going to be another challenge for Anthony Edwards. He's going to have a million different looks defensively thrown at him, and I think this is going to show me if he is going to take that next step as a superstar. Right. Same thing for Shea because Nikhil Alexander Walker, his cousin, I'm sure is
mhm,
going to check him sometimes. Anthony Edwards might check him sometimes. Like, there's going to be times where he's going to have some trouble with that defense. But I think, in the end,
yeah,
that depth, man, in OKC is really going to come forth.
yeah.
When you put that
So
second unit out there, it's going to look nasty.
because
If they go on runs like they did tonight. Yeah.
you saw issues with Minnesota this playoffs as well when
Yeah.
sometimes Anthony
It's a really
Edwards
bad game.
wasn't,
Yeah.
yeah, just not there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this team especially has
Yeah.
the skill set to
Yep.
take Anthony Edwards out of this game.
For
So
sure.
it's gonna be down to the vets, right? So
Hmm.
can our man Rudy Gobert take on a bigger
Yeah.
role? I don't think so. I don't know if Matt Conley can help out in that sense. I think OKC might win it in 5, bro.
Well, you know what? We're forgetting one player, and
Mhm.
he's been on my list of overrated players ever since I've seen him come into the league. But he's actually kind of proven me wrong. The
Yes.
last series,
Hmm.
Julius Randle. Like, to me, he's one of the worst players I've ever seen play basketball. But I
Not
have
the
to give you
worst, just a black hole. But this
listen. He's one
playoffs,
of the okay. Don't let me get started. Okay, if
but
you
this
watch,
playoffs, bro.
hold
No,
on,
no,
hold on.
you have the floor. Go ahead. I'm
All
telling
right,
you.
listen to me. Right,
Yeah.
Julius Randle is one of the most overrated, overappreciated, overpaid, hyped up black hole. No dribble move that he can do twice in a row. No post move that he can do twice in a row. Player I've ever seen in my life. This dude is left-handed and he can never dribble right. To save you make $30 million a year. You got to learn to dribble right sometimes, bro. You can't just put your head down and push your way through the defense. That's not how it works. That's
Well,
not how it works.
okay, but within
And
this
he's a highlight
offense,
tape. But
this is where
but
I'm.
hold on, let me
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
because I'm gonna give him his props. Okay, this last series, he's played well, right? He's
Mhm.
averaged at least I think it's like over 24
20,
points. He's
28 or
averaged.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty well. He's been playing pretty well. I'm gonna give him his props. At the same time, if it gets a little tight, I promise you he's gonna start going back to that the way of playing where he just try to drives to the rim and throws the ball up and then starts looking at the ref and complaining like, oh, it's a foul. No, you put your head down and try to dribble through a 7-footer. What do you mean? Like, you
Yeah.
need to have skills at this level. Like, I'm telling you, this round coming up is gonna expose him. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, Sheldon. I know you brought him up, but I don't know how he's going to deal with two 7-footers in the
This
post,
is my point.
and
If
then
they
you
put
have.
Chet on him, then I know exactly the game plan. They're gonna try to go at him in the post and try to bully him, but that's not gonna win you the series. I
It'd be
promise.
interesting. It'd be interesting to kind of see if they do not even put Chet on him, put Caruso on him again, like how they did with Thing, and just have let's
Yeah,
see what he does. Because
yeah.
now you sitting there holding the ball,
To
and
be honest
Caruso's
with you,
hands are quick, yo.
can I be real honest with you? I
Yeah.
would put Stein on him and let Gobert, let someone else guard Gobert. Let Caruso guard Gobert. Because
Hmm.
Gobert is not like he's long. Like in terms of, he can just his reach is there and he gets a lot of rebounds and putbacks that way. But if we're talking about a 7-footer who's strong and box out, he's not that. He
Hmm.
just uses his length a lot of times, pause,
So why not put
to
Hardenstein on him, and that's it? Just put him
no, no,
on him.
no. But I'm saying I'll put Hartenstein on Randall because Randall
Mm,
likes to body up, right?
yeah,
So let one of these other guys deal with Gobert, and Gobert is not really a threat unless he's on the offensive board
yeah,
or defensive board. So put put your strongest center on Randall. I'm telling you, he's gonna shut them down.
yeah.
But
So what?
again, Anthony Edwards is MJ's son, so I don't know how he's gonna play. Because if he starts going
Hey,
crazy, then
yeah, but
good luck.
and that's fine. But look what Jokic did. The issue
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jokic was that he gets everyone else involved. But
Exactly.
Anthony doesn't do that yet. He's not at that level yet. So you let him go off. Let him score 50.
I agree.
He's not gonna
It'll be
win
89
games.
to 122.
Yeah.
Because no one else is gonna score the ball.
That's why I say I think I have OKC in 5.
I do as well. I don't know if it's 5. The only reason why is because it's the West Finals. I think the Wolves, they made the finals a couple years ago, last
year.
Yeah. So I think they have that over their head, and if they start to play bad, the media is gonna get at them. And Anthony Edwards is a bulletin board type of player. So remember when the Lakers won a couple games that series, they're all like, "Oh, Lakers in 5, Lakers in 5," and he went off. So I want to see what he's gonna use this series to kind of say, okay, let me use this as fuel, because he's always needed that, as a player. So we'll see, man. I'm excited to see them.
Yeah,
but I want to see that MVP trophy for Shea, man. He deserves it now. He's proven
I had
himself.
a feeling, bro, that they weren't going to give it until after.
They wanted to see the series. Yeah, I know.
They wanted to see the series. I know the votes are in. We know.
You remember when Dirk got his MVP in, was it 2008, 7, 8, whatever, when they lost in the first round?
Yeah.
I think the NBA changed it after that, because it's like, this is embarrassing. Our MVP is going home in the first round.
What's the year
they lost to Golden State. Yeah. But he got the MVP trophy after he lost.
Let's change gears. We're going to talk about the bogus draft, NBA draft.
The frozen envelope. Let's do it, man.
The bogus NBA draft.
Let's do this.
So the draft lottery, unfortunately.
And I want to say, whoever got this on their prediction, you're a liar. Nobody had Dallas going number 1. Yeah, you're 100% lying. So let's get into this, man. Hey, get this man boxing off my screen, bro.
So annoying. Anyways, so the conspiracy is that
no, don't use that word. Don't use that word. Don't, let's not do that.
So it's not a conspiracy anywhere. We're saying
it's not a conspiracy, bro. It's too much facts. It's too many. First of all, let's start from the beginning. Okay? There was a backdoor deal with Dallas and LA. When does that ever happen in the NBA? When does it not? How does a player like Luka get traded without any leaks, any reports, nothing? How does that happen?
Again, me and you talked about this. Who calls one team, the Lakers, and says, "You want Luka? Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Give us your second best player. We'll give you our generational 22 or 25-year-old player. Come on,
because he's fat.
Yeah. So you couldn't put him on a meal plan? You tell me Dallas people don't have meal plan?
Defense wins championships. All right, cool. All right, and then
I know what this was. This was a play because remember, let's add to the quote-unquote conspiracy. What's going to happen next year? The NBA is moving their TV rights, right, over to ESPN and Amazon and all these places. So what do they need? They need their best team, or their money-making team, the Lakers, to be relevant. They can't afford for LeBron to say, "Hey, I'm going to be retired," when they got a new TV deal coming in and their cash cow doesn't have a superstar.
Thank you for adding that to it.
Think about it.
And they gave Dallas Cooper Flag.
Exactly.
And
let's take it further. Remember, Cooper Flag said, "Oh, I might go back to college because I'm making money over here. I might stay in college for another year." Yeah. You remember that, and how quickly that was changed? How quickly that went hush hush?
Okay, so okay.
Don't get me excited, man.
Let's kind of taking it down a notch.
Okay.
You're Dallas. You're Nico, right?
Yes.
You want to win a championship before Luka does.
Sure.
Do you keep the number 1 pick?
Absolutely. I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell me.
You took a gamble. Let's go way back before Nico. Mark Cuban took a gamble and got Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah.
This is at the height of when Kyrie Irving was, being scrutinized by the public and the media for posting a link. Turns out he takes you to the NBA Finals. You were not expecting that, right? No one anticipated them getting to the finals that year.
Yeah.
Anyways, he becomes a darling. Him and Luka, great tandem, whatever, right? They kind of flamed out in the finals. Sure, it happens, right? Mm-hmm. Some teams are just like Luka's young, right? It's his first trip to the finals. He probably wasn't really prepared for it, such and such.
And Boston was
Then you,
stacked.
yeah, exactly, and they couldn't defend it through. Whatever the case is, I'm not putting that loss on Luka. As much
No,
as they want to say they looked at the footage and they're like, "Oh, I don't think we can win with him," that's a lie. Anyways,
exactly.
fast forward to this past season. Um, Dallas starts out slow, right? They're not really winning as much, and they didn't win as much when they went to the finals either. Let's remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah. They
Um,
weren't they the sixth seed or something?
6 seed or something. Exactly. They weren't even playing that well that season. Anyways, the deal happens with Luka. He gets traded, right? Kyrie gets hurt. All of a sudden, Dallas is no good anymore. They can't win games. They
Mm-hmm.
start to, drop in the standings, increasing their odds, their odds of winning the lottery. Now it gets to a point where the NBA is like, okay, well, Nico's getting all this hate, death threats and such. He can't even walk in his own stadium without security. And the league is like, okay, well, you guys gave up Luca to our cash cow, right, to help boost sales over there. We got to pay you back, right? One of the best drafts in recent history in the last maybe like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag is there, just waiting there, right? What do? They say, oh, the team with the best odds is this. And for months, they've been throwing that in our face. This team has the best odds. This team has the best odds. Dallas wasn't even a thought.
Nope.
Right? We get to the
1.8%.
draft lottery. They Toronto number 9, Brooklyn number 8, New Orleans. These are teams that have horrible records.
Horrible records.
New Orleans, Washington, Utah, 5th. Utah
Yeah.
had the worst record this year, I think.
Yeah.
I think or them or Charlotte, one of them.
No, they were the
Charlotte.
worst.
When I saw Charlotte 4, I said, "Oh, I know what this is. I know
Mm-hmm.
exactly what this
Yeah.
is. I've seen this before."
Everyone said you're not the only.
As
We were
soon as I
watching it
saw Charlotte number 4, I'm like, I know exactly what this is.
when everyone saw we were all on Twitter Spaces, and as soon as they said the top that Charlotte got 4, we're like Dallas is winning it. We all knew.
We all knew, bro. They can't hide it anymore, and this is what I don't like because the NBA for years has said, "Oh, we got to keep these small market teams relevant, and we're gonna change the CBA rules where if the team drafts a player, he can't leave without these penalties and blah 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 blah." Ever since KD left for the Warriors, they changed all these rules about players switching teams and whatnot. This is why the players opt out of contracts and say they want to go to where they want to go because you have this foolishness, right? Imagine so okay. I'm gonna use KD as an example, right? Imagine KD was on Charlotte his whole career, right? Couldn't win a championship because he can't get no help. No one wants to go there. No one wants to sign there. They can't draft players, and then he ends up, maybe year 8, 9, and with a chance to win the draft lottery, get a star player to play with him, and then end up with the 4th pick. You know how pissed off I'd be if I'm a player.
Yeah.
Do you think LaMelo's not looking at this like, yo, I'm out of here, bro? This is ridiculous.
So I think I understand those proportions, but Charlotte can't say anything. They got the 3rd pick and they won the lottery. So Charlotte can't say nothing.
Listen,
it's teams like Dallas.
It's not winning the lottery, Dre. It's not winning the lottery. It's when you win the lottery. Remember, the Raptors had a number 1 pick too, right? And one of the worst drafts of all time.
That was,
you know what I'm saying? Like let's not talk about just
winning.
The
and it's interesting
when you win the lottery.
Someone posted that anytime you trade your star player to
I saw it.
They win the lottery.
That's a fact. It's a fact,
bro. But
it's hard to denounce it because we've seen the trend over the last 10, 15 years.
The thing is, though, if I'm Dallas, I actually would. Like if Giannis didn't say anything, I would have traded him. Number 1 for
for sure.
Why not?
If he never said anything, I would have definitely traded him. But now
is there any player in this league right now that you would trade the number 1 pick for, other than Giannis?
Trade? You mean like
trade the number 1 pick for Cooper Flag right now? Anyone in this league that would make you want to win a championship. You want to win a championship right now.
Now you're putting incentives in there. I would trade. I would put KD in the Suns.
No,
for that number 1 pick. I'd put KD on Dallas, man. What do you mean?
You're not.
I put him on Dallas
It's
right
not.
now.
No, man. No way. I would
I'm
never
just
trade
saying.
for KD. I don't think
I'm
that's a
just
good
saying.
idea.
I would put. You mean
I
for
don't.
that? Like for who? What do you mean? Like for
I don't
to
like
make
if you
who
want
better?
to. I like the number one pick is worth Giannis for sure.
Well,
Right. That's what I'm
this
saying.
draft,
Like
this draft,
who?
yes,
Yeah.
this draft,
I'm just
yes.
saying this number one pick right now for Cooper Flag.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't trade him for KD. That's someone.
Okay, sure.
I was thinking more like Jaylen Brown from
No,
Boston, but that's
no.
$300 million. But
Exactly.
I don't know if Dallas should trade him.
The players don't, and it's crazy to say this, but the players are not the same in terms of impact and stuff. Jalen Brown is great, Finals MVP, but what
They're,
Cooper Flag could potentially be,
mhm.
that is not a great
But
trade, in
but
my
now
eyes.
you're thinking potentially can be like
Well, but
they have
that's what
they
the
have
draft is, though.
Kyrie and Anthony Davis, right? Those guys aren't
But
going to be around for a while.
I'm saying
For,
that's what the draft is, right? Every person that's drafted or potentially going to be drafted here is a what if,
yeah.
right? Sam Bowie was not projected
Yeah,
to
but that's what
be.
I'm saying because it's a what
You know
if.
what I mean?
Why not trade? Why not trade for a win now player? Like I don't think KD is a win now player in a sense that's
I
worth the
disagree.
first pick.
I
Not the
disagree.
first pick. Maybe the third pick, maybe the fourth or fifth pick. I don't think he's that right now.
But again, okay, who are we like? What are you getting?
Yeah.
Depending on where Cooper goes, like what are you getting? You know what I mean? Like what type of player is he going to be on with said team? We don't know,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Depending on the situation that he goes to.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas to me is a great fit, because they need a wing, right? Clay Thompson is dwindling
Yeah, but
down to just.
I just
They
don't like
need.
when teams like for example,
Mhm,
Warriors back when they had the second pick, they
sure.
took the big man
They, they
and
drafted
James
for need.
Wiseman.
They drafted for
They
need,
drafted
right?
for need, and not only that, they didn't develop him. So he ended up stunting his
True.
growth
That's true. Well, I mean,
because
it's
they're in a
Steve
win
Kerr,
now
right? So
situation, right?
Steve Kerr, you have to remember that. I
I
remember
understand that, but it's happened before in the past with other teams. Like look what Detroit did. Instead of going for Carmelo Anthony, they took
yeah, yeah, drafted for need.
my boy, right?
This
It's
is
because they
why.
needed it right at
This
the
is why
team.
when I hear these guys talk about the Raptors and saying, "Oh well, we need us this, we need a that." No, you draft talent, bro. That's what the draft
Yeah.
is for. You draft talent, right?
So
You develop players for what you need, but you draft the talent. You can always move the talent whenever you need to,
yeah,
but you draft the best player available. That is what the draft is for.
yeah.
Talent, bro. Talent.
We taught you brought up the Raptors. Have you been looking at any players? Like what kind of player do you want in this draft? Like
So
we have two picks. We have the 39th pick
yeah,
and
39th
we
and
have the ninth.
so you know what? I'm not gonna be Debbie Downer because we got the ninth pick. We didn't get top five, and I get it. There's a lot of good players that are not being highlighted, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you do your research, you will find a few gems in there. And remember, a lot of these guys that are going, top five are one and dones,
Yeah.
right? And who's the last one and done in recent years that has really flourished in the league, right? There's not many.
Yeah.
There's not many. I'm not saying Cooper Flag and these guys, are not going to be great, but it's not a guarantee to say get a 19-year-old and throw him on an NBA team and say he's going to take you to the promised land, right? It just doesn't work out like that
That's
anymore.
true. That's true.
I think the real winners in the draft are the ones who can find the guy that has great character, good talent that can be developed,
Mhm.
right? And someone that you can say, okay, well, he wasn't a number one pick or a number five, or sorry, number 2, 3, 4 pick, but he turned out to be the best player in the draft in
Yeah.
hindsight.
Yeah.
The Raptors did it with Jamal Shed this last season,
Yep.
right? No one was talking about him. I remember his run in Houston
Houston.
that
Yeah.
year before he got injured. He was one of the bright spots. So at number 9, I think we can draft a really good player. There's one player that stood out to me in recent days that they were talking about. It's Carter Bryant. Not Bryant. Yeah,
Interesting.
Carter Bryant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carter
Interesting.
Bryant.
Okay. Yeah. Carter Bryant. Yeah.
I like his game. Reason why, remember, I always told you I wanted Ace Bailey, right? That was my
Yeah.
number one
Yeah.
uh, pick for me. If we got top 3 or whatever, I'm taking Bailey. Reason why, the talent is there and it could be developed.
Can shoot, bro.
Right.
That guy can
Anytime
shoot.
you compare someone to Tracy McGrady and he's 6'10", put
Mhm.
him on my team, bro.
Well,
Because
now
you
we
don't
found
get
out
that
he's 6'7".
Sure.
But it's still he can still score, bro.
The eye test tells me he can shoot over the defense, so that's all I care about. So yeah, like I'm saying, Carter Bryant is someone that I saw and I watched his tapes, and I'm like, okay, he's a 1A to a Ace Bailey type,
Yep.
Um, the
39-inch
Raptors need
vertical lead,
shooters.
standing 6'10".
The Raptors, the Raptors
Oh,
need shooters. Yeah, the Raptors need shooters, and he's a decent shooter. He's, I don't know him well enough, his game enough, but from what I've seen, I like it at number 9. So we'll
cool.
see, man. I don't know.
Cool. We need a big man. Like I really want a big man, and I do not want any guards or any players under 6'6",
Yeah, I don't
6'7"
want no
kind of
small.
thing.
Yeah, don't bring no small guys here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't.
The players I've been looking at, and this is like
Mm-hmm.
Trey Johnson
Mm-hmm.
is like I hope he drops to us, but
He's
Trey
highly. And sorry to cut you, but this is another thing with the draft, man. We don't know what these organizations are thinking behind closed doors.
This is where I was coming in right now. Like, what's happening here is like, for instance, yes, Dallas is going to take Flag, but then we get to 2.
We don't know.
I don't think Spurs might even draft Dylan Harper
because they have who?
They
got
have
the
Fox,
Rookie of the Year, right?
And they have Fox, and they have stuff. So
why would
they
you
might
bury
trade this
talent like that? Behind those guys, like.
Right?
It doesn't make sense.
So now the question is, what is the number 2 worth?
See, now we're talking.
Right? So then we go to 3, right? I think Sixers are probably going to grab Ace Bailey, but
even that, okay, stay there.
Yeah.
If they take Ace Bailey, right?
Yeah.
Is Paul George staying?
Paul George
what's the point?
He has to stay. There's no one is taking that contract.
Ace can't play the 2. He's not fit for the 2 guard.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So maybe you don't pick Ace.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, but Dylan Harper could drop to 7, bro.
Yeah, like, Dylan Harper kind of throws it off because these teams don't need point guards. If you go down the list,
we go down to Charlotte. Charlotte doesn't need a point guard. BJ would actually fit better.
He'll play the 2, but do they want that? You know what I mean? Like
they actually need a big. They actually need a big, right? So now we're like, this is where someone had put Derek Queen at 3.
Yeah, and then please take Derek Queen off that Raptors board, please. I don't want to see him.
Weird. I'm done with him now.
So I don't want.
But I like him, but I don't know.
He's undersized for that. For what we want.
No, he's 6'9", bro. He's 6'9".
As a center.
Legit.
Yeah, I don't want that though.
I know what you're saying, but a playmaker, center, 6'9",
sure.
Shoot.
Well, again, he's a playmaker on a team with other playmakers, right? How much ball is in the pass?
Bro, the more playmakers a team has, the better.
Sure. I'm gonna give you that. I wouldn't take him at 9. That's just my thing. I wouldn't take him at 9.
I would take him at 9, but then there's Malawach. Malawach is 7'2".
Whose stock has dropped significantly.
It's dropped. They're not going to discredit the 7'2".
No, you can't, and you can't teach that, right? You can't teach his size and his length. Pause, but he's going to be somebody that he has to go to a good franchise that could develop him.
Yeah,
right. So then if he goes to Pelicans, like he's probably gonna, or even
he might go to friggin' Sixers.
Yeah, or Charlotte.
So like then there's this one everyone's been talking about. I do not like this guy at all. He cannot shoot. He can't shoot.
Forget it.
Like I'm tired of guys that at that size they can't shoot. Like
what's your purpose? The NBA is all about shooting now.
Yeah.
Why are you here? You can't shoot.
Yeah.
Like what
so
are you
then
talking about?
Another guy, this guy here. This is one guy that I'm really high on. He can play defense. When I say defense, France is like developing players.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
But I know. Once we're off this, I'll give you an idea, a thing that I noticed about French players, and it's a more me and you conversation, not anyone else. But and then Edgar Denon is starting to move up in the draft now because they actually see he can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sleeper for me is this guy here, Thomas Silber. So 6'10" and a half, can defend, shot blocker, rim protector.
Yeah.
can rebound, wingspan 7'6",
Nice.
agile, can shoot the three.
Mm-hmm.
He's the prototypical center I like.
There you go.
I have
There you
a
go.
feeling this guy might drop to us or might be on the board for us.
260. I like that. 6'10",
He's injured
260.
right now. But
That's fine. I mean, remember, OG was injured when we drafted him,
yeah,
and look how he turned out.
yeah.
So,
So those are the
yeah.
players I'm looking at. Someone else, some other
Okay.
people are saying Rashid Fleming, but those three, like the dream would be obviously top four or Trey Johnson.
Of course.
But
Okay, so
we
question
also,
for you.
yeah.
Sorry, finish your thought.
I was gonna say we still need to trade someone.
So yeah, this is where I'm going now.
Yeah.
So now, because this draft to me is not going to be as up and down as people think it is, outside of Cooper and Dylan and Ace,
Mm-hmm.
even VJ, like sure those guys are locks to be, high valued assets. My thing is this order, and we just touched on it briefly, but like do the 76ers and the Spurs and these teams, do they look at it and say let's keep our pick or move around? Like are the other teams trying to get
That's what I'm
higher?
saying.
You
So
remember like when Boston traded up for Tatum, or they traded down, I think, something like that. I don't remember what
they
did,
traded
but they
down for Tatum and
traded down for
and let the
and
Sixers
Philly, yeah.
draft. Okay,
Shout out to Markel.
here's the issue.
Yeah.
Here it is, right here.
Salary,
Raptors
yeah.
are in salary next year for 178 million.
And let's add the asterisk that Masai is still, I think this is last year, this year
This is
coming
his
up.
last year. Yeah,
So now this is very important. This is very important because now when you're signing players, when your contract is not signed, does the team, want to sign these players because it's no longer your decision moving forward if you're not going to be here.
Exactly.
Right? It becomes the team in the future, whoever is in that position, decision. So yeah, this is important. Very
this
important.
is an issue because we have literally all this money stacked up in 4 players plus 5 players.
Yeah.
And
starting 5.
Yeah, the
starting 5.
Yeah. It's like too much. Something has to give here. Because they can't even, like, they have enough to sign the first round pick and the second round pick. But other than that, they're done. They can't sign anyone else, or else they're going to be paying a luxury tax. So someone has to move.
Hold on, stop right there. Is PJ Tucker on our books?
No. He's not 0.
Oh,
we took him last year. It was
yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we traded that contract. Okay.
So we have to trade, and in my mind, you have to trade either Manuel Quickly or RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
You have to.
I know
RJ Barrett seems to be the one everyone is talking about moving.
Well, yeah, because for starters, you can't trade your. It's hard to trade a point guard, especially the one that you've given the reins to. And I know we have Jamal Shed, but like you've given this guy the contract. He had a really.
That's the guy I want to move. That's the guy I want to move.
He's had the bad year last year, and I feel like
he's had 2 bad years in a row.
It's gonna be hard to trade that. I know it's easy to say you want him off the team, but remember, the other team has to accept the trade as well, right?
Yeah.
So what are you really selling them on?
Just quickly, we got a comment from Raps should look at Maxine Ronald.
Shout out to you.
Thank you, for messaging. Ronald is actually really moving up, 7-footer. Hold on, let me see if I can find him. Yeah. So 7'1", 7'1" and a half. From France.
Okay,
he can play, bro. He's good. He's got a great motor. And
I'm looking at my
went for Stanford. He went into the
portal,
the G League league thing.
Yeah.
And the combine scrimmage, 21 points, 9 rebounds, and they shut him down.
Wow.
So he's actually one of the better.
Somebody has their eye on him then.
Yes, and he's starting to move up into the draft, into the first round. I know. I think some mock-ups.
This is my thing now. There's one other kid, a point guard lefty, man. I forgot his name. I should have written it down.
Oh, I know who you're talking.
He had a great game in the combine of scrimmage. He had like 21 and something. Like, young lefty kid, man. He's a walk-on, actually.
I see him. I forgot his name. This guy, not no, it was. I know exactly who you're talking to because I watched the video on him.
Yeah, I watched the
Yeah,
video. Very shifty.
very shifty, but he's 6'1". That was the issue.
But that's the thing. He had like a 43-inch vert.
Yeah, 43. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
What was his name? It's like it starts with a T or something like that.
I don't remember, man. I wish I'd.
If you guys remember, anyone out there remember it? But and then there's the Chinese guy, 17. He actually can play as well. He's very good. And then we got the Canadian Ryan Nemhard. He's been playing on that team too. He's doing well.
Who's drafting up because apparently he's one of the top shooters on draft right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
But well, yeah, let's get back to the Raptor salary. So sorry. Thank you for shouting us out there. But yeah, it looks like RJ is the one player that looks like can be moved because how he's
tough.
He's not the tough one because he actually had a good year last year.
Right.
Highs and career highs and everything.
Yeah. His value definitely is up there right now. What I think is hard is, and I hate saying this, but it's the sentimental value, bro.
I don't want to. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to move.
He's Canadian RJ. And he has the best year, and his brother passing. All those things. Like I know what we're saying because we're talking numbers now. We're talking, numbers and all those things, but we're not looking at the human aspect of it because it's hard. It's hard to really gauge, where a team is in terms of how they feel about the player. He came here. He's a third pick overall. Had his best year, his best season. Mm-hmm. How do you just say, okay, well, we got to trade him because we're going to draft somebody and blah blah?
And I believe tough. You need scoring wings to win in this NBA.
Absolutely.
But I think RJ and the 9. One of the trades people have been saying is RJ and the 9 for the second pick.
Who'd you take though?
Dylan Harper.
So okay, see now it goes back to where's Harper going to play? Number 2
at point.
And we're gonna put quickly. We're gonna put quickly.
Quickly has to come off the bench, bro.
No, you can't.
You can't. Yeah, but you gotta draft
$25 million a year. What is that? $32 million a year. No.
That's why I think you should move if you can move quickly. But I think if we got the second pick,
difficult. Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to move.
If we got the second pick for 9 and RJ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are we taking Ace Bailey? Are we taking VJ Edgecombe? So you would take Bailey. I would take 100%. Dylan Harper because I think Harper's better.
I agree, but if I'm giving up RJ, I'm not taking another point guard, right? I just can't. I can't. We have Jamal Shed and Emmanuel Quickly. That's 3 really good guards right there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so it's hard to.
I have in my mind. I'm not sure. Emmanuel Quickly is ready for that.
He's not. He hasn't consistently proven it. He's had flashes. Even in New York, he had flashes of greatness, but like the consistency hasn't been there yet. And I know it was tough last year because he really wanted to be on the floor. But man, it's hard to root for him right now.
It's an issue, man. Like in my mind, I don't know who would take Emmanuel Quickly's contract because that's.
But again, we jumped the gun and signing him. I think at the time, the Raptors were thinking of making a push. You know. After coming off that season and getting RJ and Emmanuel was like, okay, well, let's go back and make a push, and then it kind of didn't work out. So they shifted their focus to the draft, but now they're in a position where they, like you said, they got to move somebody.
You want me to get a little crazy now?
Okay, let me hear this nonsense.
It's nonsense for sure. But I do believe this. I actually would trade Scotty. I would trade Scotty for the 2 pick.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Board Maggots podcast. I'm not your host because I would never say nothing like that.
All right. So reasons
he has a Scotty Barnes jersey behind him. 2 of them.
I believe in Dylan Harper. I believe that we could get it would probably be Harper and some other players coming back for Scotty. We keep the 9. We rebuild this team.
Hold on me. Mute up for a second. Solo on me. Just the whole screen. Solo on me. Solo on me. Andre, I love you, bro. I love you, man. Let's not do this, okay? Let's not, man. I'm your brother. And I love you, man. Don't ever say that again.
No,
Please.
okay. Well,
Trace, I
okay.
didn't.
Hold on. We gotta think about
What?
this. Okay, think about it. And we just lost like 5 followers. Okay, we talked
Thank
about
you,
it.
because you said the craziest thing just now.
But we talked about it, and it's like if you think about, well, let's look at the salaries, right? We just gave Scotty Barnes 38 million,
Sure.
right? And we
Might be a
have,
steal of a contract. we
yeah,
didn't give
and
him 300.
we're supposed to be, we should be making playoffs this year.
Competing. Yeah,
If
yeah, yeah,
we
for sure.
if we build this team correctly,
Hmm.
wouldn't it be better to build it off of a player like say a Dylan Harper or an Ace Bailey?
We still don't know.
Now,
Right, again. I'm gonna say this again. We still don't know what these players are great. Don't get me wrong.
and that's what I
They've
said
had
to them. But how
great
long are we
college
going to
careers. We
wait?
don't
It's
know
been 2 years now. It's been what, 1.5 seasons, like 2 seasons now.
for
Like
who.
what
What do you mean?
for the art? Like, do you? Okay,
Oh, I
question
think I'm
is,
about Scotty in general. Oh,
no,
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 no, no.
not Scotty. It's because I
I mean,
like Scotty. I
overall
really
with
want
the
to. I'm
core, yeah,
thinking this core right now.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
believe in it?
You know what? It's hard to believe in anything that you haven't really seen. I mean, not to get into the Bible talks, but like you have to have a lot of faith to believe in something that you can't see.
Oh, hold on.
But
One guy said the luxury tax at 187 million.
uh,
So technically,
I remember
Raptors
it's
are
going
over
up.
the first apron and not the second. And
Yes,
exactly, and that's the issue
yes,
because
yes.
if they're in the first apron, that's kind of fine, but it hampers them, meaning they can't do certain trades and stuff like that.
But
And we're not good enough to be the first
I
apron,
was
bro.
just gonna say,
Like,
that we have to compete. We have to compete like right out the gate. We can't have a slow start. We have to compete right out. And you know what's funny too? I think the Raptors know what they're doing in terms of why they sign these players so quickly.
yeah.
There's got to be some play in behind this because again,
Oh,
if
also,
if
just to
it,
add
yeah,
to that, that means no Chris Boucher this year.
you know me where I stand on that, man. I love Chris
Hey,
Boucher,
but
but
if we're trying to win, Chris Boucher won us 6 games in a row and made us lose the freaking fifth pick, bro.
yeah,
Like,
he
come on.
basically said, I don't want to see Ace Billy or any of these guys in Toronto. Yeah, he won a 6 game straight, but that was when the games didn't really mean much. Um,
So that's
I
like,
wouldn't, I
if we
wouldn't bring
don't
it back.
believe if we don't believe in this core, why are we so locked into this core? If
Well, maybe
like,
maybe the team does, maybe the organization does, because I would sign these guys to these deals, especially the Ingram signing. Right, I get trading him because you want to see what you can do with it.
yeah,
But to sign him right away was kind of interesting to me because
that's why I
now
said a 1-and-1 deal. Like, I
you're
don't
locking
understand
yourself
it.
into it, right?
Yeah,
You're locking yourself. And what if God forbid, what if he has another ankle sprain where he's out for 6
yeah,
months? You know what I mean? Like it's gonna really, really hamper us because we're putting a lot on him.
yep,
We brought him here. We're saying, okay, he's gonna be our closer. He's gonna be our go-to scorer, which is he has the capability of doing that,
yeah.
right? He's won a lot of games, game winners, and hit tough shots and stuff like that. We need someone like that
But he
who
hasn't
can slow
played over
the game
60
down.
games, bro. He's played
And
60
this is
games
my thing.
once.
Well, listen, man, we got the number one doctor in the NBA. I'd say league wide
That's true. That's true. I would
in
say
all the
I would
main
agree with that.
sports, right? Anyone that can nurse Kawhi Leonard back to health, I'd give him number one.
Mhm.
So we got Alex McKechnie,
Yeah.
and if he can help turn around this injury plagued team from last season, I think we have a real shot of being like
Yeah, but
4 or
my
5.
issue again is the coaching, man. Like, I don't know if Darko can win games. That's what,
Listen, I used
defensively.
to, yeah, I used to give Casey the same flack, but in hindsight, Casey really helped build a solid foundation to help us win the championship. And I wonder if that's the same thing here. If
Yeah,
Darko's here
a
to set the foundation,
defensive
yeah, yeah. No,
foundation.
but hear me out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
I think he's here to like, because remember he was given a rebuilding team, right? So in his mind, he's
No,
like,
he
I need
wasn't. He was given a great team, bro.
no,
You
no, no.
had
But at
Pascal
the
and
time,
OG, and
for how
he
long though? Half a
no, but
season.
he forgot about. He didn't even remember that.
Dre,
I don't
the
know, man. Like, I think
the
if
team
you
was probably telling him like, listen, these guys are eventually going to be on their way out, and we're going to focus on such and such and such. And once he got the rebuilding team, it was more so focus of teaching these guys how to play basketball.
Yeah, but I
Right?
think this is an issue with Masai. How do you have your best player and don't talk to him all summer, right? You're talking about trading him. You tell the coach you're going to be trading him. The coach doesn't
No,
even
Pascal at
plan
the
or
time.
prepare. Yeah, Pascal doesn't even plan or prepare for him to be
Man,
playing in the on this team. Like
I can't
these
defend
little
that.
things are
Yeah.
starting to add up, especially because you're not winning. They're going to be shown. They're going to be blown up, right?
Mm.
And those are the things we have to think about and talk about when it comes to, are we
Well,
trying to
for me,
rebuild? Are we trying to,
yeah,
I don't
for me,
know if Emmanuel Quickly or RJ is worth a second or third pick, right? And it's like you have to keep continuously getting better and improving. And
for sure.
you this we screwed up this draft. They screwed up this tank. And everyone's like, "Oh no, we didn't because it didn't matter." No, bro,
Well,
we were the fifth. We were
I
the
think our team
fifth of
was too
place.
talented, bro. Our team was too talented to tank in
Nah,
the way
bro.
that we
Everyone
expected to.
else made a decision to tank.
Well,
And
actually, it didn't even matter because guess what? They were always going to give Dallas the number one pick,
yeah, but
and Dallas
I
was
that's
his
not what I'm
pick.
talking. I'm talking about the top four, right?
Okay.
That's what we wanted to get into the top four, and
Hmm.
we had the fifth position going into the thing until we went on
Yeah,
that 6 game win streak. And guess who
I think
ended up with the fifth position? Friggin'
I think
Sixers, and the Sixers got the third pick.
it came out that if you saw the
Hmm.
what was it, the odds numbers, and they said the Raptors were one number off from
Yeah,
being
sure.
number one pick.
Yeah,
BS.
one number off, and then three numbers off the second pick.
The second pick, right? Listen, we're speaking a lot of hypotheticals here, right? At the end of the day, the guys
Hey,
got to
if
play the
we were a
games.
fifth, that's where Sixers were. Sixers made the decision to tank, and they freaking shut down everyone. So I'm sorry, bro. Like you know what you want to feed the ego of Chris Boucher, right? That doesn't make any sense to me if you're trying to do something. And then going signing, you go and
Yeah.
trade for Brandon Ingram, which made no sense at the moment because we're like, I thought we were
Hmm.
tanking. What are you doing? The teams the players that were making us lose,
Hmm.
you moved them out, right? Although I was
Yeah.
very happy to see that guy go. At the
Yeah.
same time, it just makes us think, okay, now we're all in next year. But did we learn anything this year? Did we? The only thing I think we learned was we
Mhm.
developed these young players, and that Scotty Barnes is who he is.
You know what, man? There's really nothing I can say except we'll
Mhm.
see because there's no real answer to it. It's all in hindsight right now.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's past, it's gone, it's happened already. There's only so much we can
yeah.
say, and because we really don't know the direction. If Masai doesn't sign his contract, we really don't know what the direction is. Because whoever comes in after him could just totally wipe out all of this in an instant. You know what I
That's what I'm
mean? And
saying. But
really,
is it?
really
Uh,
take it out.
and that's where I don't know. That's where I'm
That's
like,
what we don't
I
know.
would
We
rather
really
move. I really want to move IQ. I like him, but point guard, he's not it. We've seen enough. He's not it. He
okay.
can't defend the point of attack. He cannot. Like he just can't. And then RJ, I like him. I want to keep him, but I think he is not a starter. He is a bench player. He is a guy
Okay.
that you bring him off the bench, and then he doesn't have to worry about defending. But when he's a
Hmm.
starter and he's playing starter minutes and he's out there and being a pylon, it really doesn't help, right? So we
Hold
have
on.
to actually, as a fan
Hold on.
base.
Hold on.
Oh, I sound like a monster. Anyways, that's how I think. This is how I'm feeling about this. I'm gonna take you off for a second.
Hold on, bro. Lost me.
Yeah, so that's how I think about the Raptors. Is that we have to make some bold decisions. Sixers were losing with Embiid and should I add that? And podcast P. Yes, that's the name. But yes, they were losing, but here's the thing, right? They made the decision to kind of shut everyone down, and they ended up with the fifth position, and that's where the Raptors were all year until we went on that stupid win streak for no reason, right? And then we end up Sixers got the third pick, like I said, and we got the ninth pick, and like just having the more chances and just it helps, right? I understand Brooklyn, I understand, the Pelicans and whatever, but you need to put yourself in the best position to win. That's how I feel about this. All right, you're back.
Yeah, my bad. Let's change
Yeah,
camera.
no problem.
Yeah.
But trying to say, I am just
Coming here,
added here.
Sixers were losing with Embiid and podcast speed. That's a fact.
What's a fact, right? So, but like I said, the Raptors had to make a decision. We said this, and they didn't. They just didn't.
Well, listen, man. Again,
Gotta
we
live with
will
it.
see.
Yeah.
Exactly. You gotta live with it. Listen, the Leafs. Yeah.
All right. What's happening? So it's 5-0 now.
The Leafs, man. This is what I got for y'all.
I'm not a hockey fan. Not
neither am I, but I mean, come on.
I feel bad that the Leafs keep losing in the second round. It's part of their DNA right now. But yeah,
that's ridiculous.
That's tough. That's tough.
Someone just tweeted, "Is there a hockey Kawhi Leonard we could trade for?"
That's I always wonder, but hockey's such a unique sport where you need players, and it's not like a single player can change a team.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's I guess this is the podcast, right? Talked about what's going on, who we want to see in the draft, a little bit of the NBA playing. So any kind of final words, anything you want to say out there? This is going to probably be the second last podcast, and we'll do one after the draft, and then we're done for the season.
Yeah, man. I just want to say these playoffs have been amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to anything that Aaron Gordon says about having the game stretched out more. You know what I'm saying? Bro, go to bed, get some sleep. Y'all got trainer. You have the best medical staff in the history of sports.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever y'all have the best sneakers, the best technology. Y'all got cryotherapy chambers at your disposal. I don't want to hear anything about you not wanting games every other day. This has been the most entertaining playoffs, even though I've missed a few games, that I've seen in a long time.
It has been every single round. The first round in the East was bad, but like every single
because those teams are trash. I mean, and the play-in, they could have skipped that. They could have put that on, what do they call it?
Can we have the play-in go to the 7th seed makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
8th seed, 9th and 10th. 9 and 10 play, and then for one game, and then 9 and whoever else. That's it. Because that would be a little bit entertaining.
Listen, I don't want to see Atlanta or these other building teams in another play-in. Man, enough. Okay, enough.
That was terrible.
That was really bad. But it's been a great playoff so far, and also we're getting a new championship. Our champion. Sorry.
Yep.
So I'm excited about that. New era in basketball.
I like the fact that the players that we want to be the face of the league, like Shea and Anthony Edwards.
Yep.
It's too bad Boston didn't make it in. Look, Jalen Brunson is starting to might be the face of the league at one point, and then
it's in a big market, and he's a big time player. So I really want to see the Knicks make the finals. It's just gonna be good for the league, and
it would be.
I want competition, man. This is what we've been begging for forever. We need competition in this league. I'm tired of we already have the draft the draft lottery that's a joke. Players switching teams to big markets. We get it. But I'm happy for a team like OKC, a team like Indiana, who are not major markets, in Minnesota, being relevant again. Ever since Minnesota's made it, we haven't heard anything about no small market, nothing.
Yeah.
You need good players on these teams.
You do.
I'm excited, man. Excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. This playoffs has been very interesting. I don't know what the ratings are. I think the league is kind of scared about LeBron
I was gonna
leaving.
say I think they're not gonna put it up because their major markets are not invested.
Yeah,
right. The LA's,
but that's not fair. I think the ratings is again overrated in a sense because I think people consume basketball in different ways and they've got to change.
Well, guess what, Andre? If we were to count ratings the way they're supposed to be counted, the 2019 finals would be the highest rated finals of all time. So let's not even go there.
But yes, yes, this league is, it's the league we love. Unfortunately, it has its ups and downs. But
question for you before we move on:
yeah.
Are you excited for next season's NBA coverage with all these new?
Oh, bro, who do I see?
All that stuff,
There's
man.
Dirk, there's Vince.
Yes, Mike.
Nash is gonna be there.
Yep, Mike.
Mike,
MJ, bro. We didn't talk about it.
Bro,
Next show.
I was never a fan of Kobe, but you remember those Kobe videos that he used to do breaking?
Yeah,
Man,
I love it.
I love that, bro.
Yeah, that was perfect.
It's gonna be interesting, and I think it's gonna change. Man. It's bringing in a new era.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Amazon. I was hoping that Apple TV would have got some of those things and start doing that too. But it's going to be interesting. Very interesting.
For sure. I'm excited, man. I like this NBA and NBC's back. You know what I mean? Like all these things are.
We just need to get the Shaq and Chuck needs to retire and move on some.
Never. They're going.
No, but you can't continually disrespect these players, bro.
Oh, of course you can. What do you mean?
Yeah, but it's entertaining to you guys. But
disrespect these guys.
I tell you this: the NFL would never do that.
This is why the NBA is the greatest show on TV, bro. It's all about the drama.
Oh my gosh. Anyways. Yeah. So, anyways, thank you guys for watching.
Yes,
the Boardman gets paid.
Thank you for watching on YouTube.
Yes, check us out on YouTube. Check out the. Oh my gosh, what's your podcast called again? No Service Podcast.
Oh yeah, we're dropping an episode tomorrow. Actually,
say word.
Oh, for that, we recorded last night. Yeah.
Okay, we're ready. I'm ready for that. I've been doing the lawn without my free.
Oh, my bad. And it's summertime too, right?
Yeah, summertime. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you later.
Go Leafs, go! I lied. We lost. We're terrible. I'm throwing this in the garbage. Boo.
Boo.